and welcome to our YouTube channel. So as you know, we are discussing the theories and the various theorists related to it. Let us today talk about postmodernity. So what is this word postmodernity? Postmodernity is divided into these two words, post and modernity. What is modernity? Modernity is the globalization, the fast moving word that we have. What is postmodernity? This means we are moving one step further to the modernity. So this theory denies whatever the structuralist and the modernist used to say, and it goes one step further. These are the postmodernists. The important figures related to postmodernist are Lyotard, there is Baudrillard, and there are many other important theorists who talked about postmodernity. In this video, we will talk about the basic tenets. Let us discuss this concept of postmodernity. That hota kya hai postmodernity? Postmodernity is like a blanket term that we have containing many strands of thought. One of the most important figure when it comes to postmodern theory or the postmodern studies is Jean-François Lyotard, who announced that the postmodernity is an important word, and he talked about postmodernity in his book, which came out in 1979, called as the postmodern condition. So now the world is becoming postmodern. There are explicit differences that we will study in this video between the modern period and the postmodern period. What is modernity and what is postmodernity? The postmodernity basically is characterized by the term of questioning. You question everywhere. Just as the post-structuralist, the deconstructionist said that we need to look at the multiple trajectories that are around. Similarly, the postmodernist will also say the same thing. While the modernist people used to say that yes, there is fragmentation, these postmodernists are going to embrace that fragmentation, and in the most happy manner, in the most haphazard manner, but in an embracing manner, they will say what? That we are going to embrace this fractured self. They're going to embrace the fragmentation, and they never thought that one answer can be there for anything. They never thought that if you question anything, there will be one correct answer for it. Do we really know what progress is? And do we really know, is progress always good? So yes, we see that there is a progress nation, there is something that is growing. But do you think that it is good, bad? Do you think it is correct? And who will say कि ये correct है या नहीं है? So these postmodern people will question on everything. Postmodernism insists that there are many truths as opposed to a single pure truth. So these postmodernist people actually said that there are many narratives to everything. There is never one truth. They do not believe in the absolute truth. They do not believe in the universal truth. What is Lyotard saying in his book, The Postmodern Condition? He said that there are petite narratives that are needed, not grand narratives. We do not need grand narratives. We do not need huge narratives that will tell us what is right and wrong. They are not like Marxists, they are post-Marxists. They said that we need petite narratives, small narratives, petite narratives. Petite narratives की need है, and everywhere we need solutions. There can never be one truth that is always with us. Postmodernism rejects what modernism actually campaigns. Whatever modernism was telling us, the postmodernist people were rejecting it. Modernism, for example, tends to present a fragmented view of human subjectivity and history, but presents that fragmentation as something that is very tragic. So what was the postmodernist people saying? Postmodernists said that because of World War, what is happening? We all are fractured human being. A human entity is extremely fractured. We are fragmented. We are sad. We are unhappy. We are waiting for something to happen. They used to believe that there is one ultimate universal truth that is there, and that will protect us. Right? They used to lament if there was something wrong. They used to mourn for the loss as well. While the postmodernists, contrary to these people, do not lament on the idea of fragmentation. They do not lament on the idea of incongruency or incoherentness. They actually celebrated that. So they glorified it. whatever work you see that is termed as a postmodernist work, they always have characteristic where they will embrace the fractured self. They will embrace that, yes, maybe there is fragmentation, but we still are going to embrace it. So they follow the, so for them, being a fractured self is not a very wrong thing to happen. They do not believe that there is this ultimate truth that is needed. You can find solutions in multiple ways. Then let us look at this picture. What were the pre-modern people used to think? Pre-modern used to think that because God put it there and that's the way it is always been. So ऐसा ही हमेशा होगा because God ने ऐसा किया है. So this is the ultimate truth. This is the universal truth that is there. Then onwards and upwards, it is the inevitable progress. According to the modern people, if you are moving upward, it is a progress. But do you even think, do you even just stop and think and ponder and ask yourself that is this progress, is this upward movement or the journey that you are embarking or you are, the journey you are undertaking, is it positive or negative? Do you think about the consequences? If you start to think about the different things, if you start to deliberate on the truth, it becomes a postmodernity itself. What is it? It is incomprehensible. Everything is incomprehensible. So the modernism actually placed faith in all the ideas, in the values, beliefs, culture, norms, whereas the postmodernist people rejected all kinds of Western philosophies, Western ideas, small part of the human being, always with experience things in a most different manner. They always rejected ideas, beliefs, culture and norms. They believed in themselves. They believed in the hermeneutics. They believed in the search of truth on your own. They believe that you can find the truth. There is no one ultimate truth. There is no one ultimate goal. Look at this example. So this is Oedipus, and he, according to the laws, was someone who had to suffer, right? So Oedipus had to dig his own eyes out. Why? Because he actually got this curse on himself. So we have Teresis who said that, yes, you will be sleeping with your mother and you will commit the crime. So he did this because of his own actions. He had to pull his eyes out. So this was what? He has only one truth. His one ultimate truth is that because of my fate, I have to do these things. I have to undergo these pathetic conditions. So this is what? Obey your own fate. According to him, there is no escape. While according to these people, this picture in front of you shows waiting for Godot. This is waiting for Godot, right? So these people, Vladimir, Estrogen, they are waiting for something absurd to happen. They do not know when it will happen, right? So there is a difference between these two scenarios. One person is just waiting for the universal truth and know that there is only one truth and he has to die. He has to live this life that is full of suffering. अब उनके पास कोई और सच नहीं बचा है. He has to live like this. While these people will wait for God, he does not know, they do not know when will Godot come, whether he will come or not, whether there is Godot or not. So there are multiple truths that can be attached. So these people only go for one truth and there are multiple truths attached here. Then in the postmodernism, all social institutions fall under scrutiny. The postmodernists question everything. Every institution, every social institute is questioned. So they fall under scrutiny, as do all philosophical assumptions as well. All assumptions, all rules, all values, all the departments, all social institutes are questioned there. There is a questioning of all ideologies rather than accepting the truth as the natural sense. So there is nothing that is authentic. A constant quest for authenticity is seen, but they know there is nothing that is the correct answer for everything. So there are no meta narratives. There are petit narratives that we have. The postmodernists emphasize the idea on pluralism. They believe that there is multiplicity. They believe especially that there are different meanings always. There are different meanings. There are multiple subjectivities, identities, different race, gender, class, creed, age, etc. And according to every situation, the truth can also change. There is a belief that text can have many meanings. A single text can give you multiple meanings. Nothing is true. What is Baudrillard saying? Baudrillard himself said this. There is this book that Gulf War never took place. Yes, because media depicted the things that were happening. But how do you know, is it true or not? How do you think, why do you think that these things are true? Maybe it is just something that is created by the media, right? So simulacra. See, these are the things that we will be studying in the further videos. These are the concepts that are asked in the paper as well. What is simulation? What is simulacra? Why do you think that the Gulf War never took place? Are the things extremely true? Do you think media is giving you the correct picture of everything? What's an icon? What's an image? How do you know that something that is happening in front of you is true? He actually studied Disneyland in greater detail, and we have questions being asked. Okay, so we'll be studying these things. The idea of the hypertext reflects the postmodernism in the use of the network model with multiple pathways rather than the linear narrative. Now we are living in this world of intertextuality. There is no one truth. There are hypertexts. There is hypotext. One text attributing to another text. One text used in another text. Intertextuality. There is what? There is pestage. There is clubbing of different genres together. So there are different characteristics that we have. There is no linear organized knowledge that is there. There is always mixture, haphazard knowledge that we have. So in the postmodern world, there is this new approach, new product, new theories that are there in the society. Several novelists later on started to use postmodernism, and they labeled themselves as the black humorist also. Why were they labeled as the black humorist? Because, as I told you, they embraced the fragmentation. They were not lamenting. They were not seeking any truth. They just said that we have already internalized and embraced all of these things, right? So we have very important writers, very important novelists like John Barth, we have Joseph Heller, we have Kurt Vonnegut. These are the important figures that you should know. All of them did what? They showed us important situations, in fact I would say pathetic situations, in the most humorous manner. So what they did, serious subjects were taken in the most playful and humorous manner by these people. So as I told you, there is always a difference between modernity and postmodernity, modernism and postmodernism. According to modernity, there are master narratives. We are in search of one single truth, and we need that truth to survive. There are meta-narratives of history and culture, national identity as accepted before World War II. Progress is accepted as a driving force behind society or behind history. So they just want to progress. But is this progress good or bad? They won't question. Then what are the postmodernists saying? They will have suspicion and rejection of all meta-narratives. As Lyotard said, petit narratives are more important. Why do you need universal truth? In different situations, different truth will help you. Not one truth always, right? So the suspicion and the rejection of master narratives of history and culture. Local narratives should also be heard. Everyone should be heard. Listen to their stories. Ironic deconstruction of master narratives, counter myths should be given the origin. Progress is seen as a failed master narrative. So just do not force yourself to only seek progress. Progress is, maybe there is something that is called as progress, but are you even growing with it? Are you even achieving something good out of it? Just going further is not progress for them. Faith in grand theory was seen, while for them they used to reject the grand theory. So they rejected the totalitarianism. They were in the pursuit of the local knowledges. Let us combine all the local knowledge, and then we will find the petit narratives and we will choose which is most suitable. But for them, there is one truth. Totalizing explanations in history are there to represent all knowledge and explain everything. Contingent theories are not there. One theory is always there that is correct for them. So what are the characteristics? To sum up, you need to know the characteristics of postmodernity. The first is pastiche. Pastiche means that you are combining different things together. Okay, so if you have read Fine Balance, you must have seen at the end Dina Dalal is, they are all making this quilt. Dina actually made this quilt with the different clothes that she were working with. She made this quilt and then gave it to the workers. So what happened? This is a pastiche. This is a collection of different things together. Similarly, all the postmodern narratives, postmodern texts follow this concept only. They will use various genres together. For example, science fiction, detective fiction, different ways of knowing things can be there. So there can be plethora of different things that can be seen under one umbrella. So these are what? These are pastiche. And we have William S. Burroughs, who uses these number of, he's a good example. William S. Burroughs' work show not only science fiction, but the touch of detective fiction in them as well. Then we have intertextuality, very important word, also asked in the paper. Kisne coin kiya hai intertextuality? So it is Julia Kristeva, who in 1916 coined the term intertextuality. But what is intertextuality? Intertextuality is that it can include an author's work, or it can borrow one author's work to transform the other work. So one prior text can use another text, right? So you can use the different texts together, or you can give writer's reference. So different texts can be brought together. This can help the reader to understand things better. That is what? That is intertextuality. It can include an author's borrowing and transformation of a prior text, or a reader's referencing to one text in reading the another text. So these are intertextual references. Then we have metafictions. Metafiction is writing about writing. So way you are writing, that is also welcome. Fictionalization was welcome now. An attempt to make reader aware that everything around you is fiction. Then we have historiographic metafiction. So the term was created by Linda Hutchinson. It is also asked in your paper. It is also a PYQ to refer to the novels that fictionalize actual historical events and characters. So you may use natural settings, you may use real historical events and characters, and then use them in your text, and of course in a fictional setting. So it becomes what? It becomes historiographic metafiction. For example, Thomas Pynchon's work, Mason and Daxon, has done that. We have seen that there are features of the scene when George Washington smokes a pot. So these are real events that happened, but in a comical, farcical manner, you use it. Then we have temporal distortion. This is a very important characteristic again. You have fragmentation and non-linear narratives. Anywhere, anything can happen. There is no fixed concrete line anywhere, right? So these are the various characteristics that postmodern people used to follow. Now, who all are the various theories that are associated with postmodernists? This is something we are going to talk about in another video. But just to give you the names, we have Jean Baudrillard, we have Guattari, Giles, then we have Derrida, we have Michel Foucault, we have Lyotard. So these are the people who talked about what? They talked about the fragmentation of the society and how they can embrace. Lyotard being the most important one, and his book, The Postmodern Condition, gave us this word, the petit narratives and the grand narratives. Grand narratives are not to be followed, and petit narratives are to be followed and embraced, right? So I hope you liked the video, you liked the effort. If you still have any doubt, you can ask me that in the comment section and I'll surely reply to you. Thank you.